Hello and welcome to another of our Institute of Real Estate Education online, kind of cram courses. Because what we're doing here tonight is we're going to look at some concepts in Utah law. Now, if you are one of the people that have found us on the internet and have given us such outstanding reviews, we really appreciate that. But if you're from another state, you might want to look at one of our other review videos because tonight we're going to be working on Utah law. And unless you're trying to get a Utah license, it probably won't do you much good. But we have a number of national concept reviews, which are essentially pretty much the same in almost every single state because we're talking about basic real estate concepts. And you'll find them very helpful despite which state you're in. But tonight is Utah law, okay? And we're going to be talking about some Utah law concepts. So let's just get right into it. The way we do these is we give you a test question or a test type question. They're not exact copies, of course, because those test questions that many of the exam companies have are copyrighted, but these are very similar. So number one, which one of these in the last 3 years would cause a sales agent application to be denied? Okay, and remember, this is Utah law. A, an infraction for possession of a controlled substance. B, misdemeanor for public intoxication. Now, some people have accused real estate of being a business that would make you drink, but that's not necessarily true. And C, a misdemeanor for dishonesty or a misdemeanor for a DUI. Okay, of all these four, the thing that is irreparable, the thing that they're going to say, no way, Jose, can you get a license? Or John or Susan or Bill, you can't get a license because you have a misdemeanor for dishonesty, C. And that's something they just, that's going to be that's a non-starter right there, okay? Why? Because even though it's a misdemeanor, it was for dishonesty. We don't need dishonest real estate agents. The state's very meticulous on this, and it doesn't have to be a felony, but if it involved dishonesty, you're toast, for quite a while, and that this is the last 3 years. Now, if it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, five's getting kind of close, but go ahead and apply anyway and see what they say. But if it's within 36 months, forget about it. You're wasting your time. Number two, here we go.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the video. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of them. And if you want even more review material, we have in the Prep My Exam link in the comments, we've got a plethora of practice exams. We have audiobooks. We have an exam simulator. We have everything that our students use to pass the exam on their first try. Okay? And if you want to get licensed in Utah, check out realestateonlinelearning.com and we'll hook you up.
A broker's license application requires licensing fees, including a fee for what? The Association of Realtors, our private club? No. Department of Commerce Employee Trust Fund? yeah, right. Okay. Errors and Omissions Insurance or Education Research and Recovery Fund. Okay, guys, of these four, obviously, if you've even read through our Utah law outlines, you would know it's D, Education Research and Recovery Fund. And a piece of those licensing fees goes into that, and it's very helpful, because we use that for a lot of different things to make our real estate industry a better place to live and work in and thrive in. Let's look at number three, please. If a real estate licensee is convicted of perjury, what must they do? Now, this is a person that already has a license, but you're in court and you lied under oath, which is a real no-no. Why? Because it speaks to your character. And anyway, it's not going to be good. All right. So anyway, you had a conviction for perjury. A, do you have to notify the division? B, cease to practice real estate voluntarily or involuntarily. I don't know. Change to a new brokerage. Yeah, they don't know about you over there, right? You'll just sneak right in. Refund commissions on your last transaction. Guys, obviously, it's going to be A, notify the real estate division. They want to know if you've been in trouble or you are currently in trouble on something. And, it's not going to fare well, particularly if it's involving anything that approaches not being a good reporter character. And if you're guilty or you were convicted of perjury, okay, not just accused of it, you actually did the deed. You know, and as you used to say in some of the old sitcoms, if you don't do the crime, if you can't do the time. Number 4, please. Okay, after completing the pre-license course, how many months do you have to apply for your real estate license? Well, you can age out, and they're pretty strict on this, of course. This is a rule that they put in place. So you complete your real estate course, get in and get that test out of the way right away. Don't dink around, not do anything. Well, I'm going to cram, and then you don't get around to it. You don't get around to it. Pretty soon you're down the last 2 weeks out of the period of time. But is that period of time 6, 12, 18, or 8? Well, it's 12, B, 1 year. Don't push this deadline. Come on. Most of this stuff you learn in real estate, a lot of it anyway, you're only loading in short-term memory. You only have to remember it long enough to pass a multiple choice test with a good solid C-. You can do this. You really can, I'll promise you. But don't age it out, because you're going to forget, and it's just going to be that much harder to pass the test and get back up to speed again. Get in and take it as quickly as you can, and try, please. Don't stretch your schooling out over a long period of time, because, well, for one thing, just because of the fact that you're a perpetual student, most of the schools in our state are going to charge you additional fees after a period of time, after you've completed your course. And so you don't want to do that. But like I said, some of this stuff ages out, so you don't want to do that. Now, that means, of course, that a lot of the stuff you really do need to know. But a lot of that you'll pick up in your training at your brokerage you go to work for, and your practical experience as you go along. I remember a number of, when I first started in the business, I was in Colorado, and Colorado's laws are a little bit different there. But at that time, you could take your broker's license exam if you had taken a lot of the extra classes, which I did. So I went in and took the broker's license test and got through it. But if I hadn't crammed real hard just before I went and took the test, it would have been very, very difficult, because not everything you learn in real estate school do you apply immediately in your practice. Some things you have to look up or talk to your broker or sales manager or other experienced agents in the office. Oh yeah, I remember that. We studied that in real estate school. But that happened to me. A client asked me a question one time. I knew I'd learned it in real estate school, but I couldn't remember the answer. And that was about 1980. I'd been in the business for a couple of years, and I decided, if I really want to own this material, then I probably need to teach it, because in teaching it, it gets so ingrained. You can, pull it from your head on demand. So I would suggest that to you. We're always looking for good instructors. If you're good at teaching adults, because you got to be 18 plus in order to get a license, hey, bone up, become an instructor, and you might really enjoy that. It's pretty easy to become a continuing ed instructor. Becoming a pre-licensing instructor is a little bit more involved, but start with doing continuing ed and then go from there. I think you'd really enjoy it. Number 5, might open up some other avenues for getting new listings too. A broker's license application must include an educational certifying document and a passing score on the broker's license exam, and a notarized declaration of Utah residency? Driving history? Okay, no. 60 experience points documented. Okay, yeah, okay, that sounds good. It sounds good because it's the right answer. Or D, a recommendation from at least one buyer and one seller. Well, guys, it's experience points. You can't just get a license and never do anything. You actually have to do something in order to eventually get that broker's license. And there's different points assigned for different activities in our business. And but certainly listing and selling different types of properties, even leasing experience, can all lead to experience points. And you need to be a little bit familiar with how many points you get for which items of experience. But the better total up to 60, because when it gets there, then you can come in That's one of the more, that is a requirement to get your broker's license. And you're going to have every broker you ever work for sign off for you, saying they like you, or at least that they respect you and think and would recommend you as a broker. And of course, they also certify that you had these transactions which led to these experience points. And that's kind of how they keep track of that. Number 6, please. An associate broker is eligible to become a what? Loan officer? Well, anybody can become a loan officer, just like anybody can become a real estate agent. But to become a broker, just because you're a loan officer isn't going to make any difference. Being a sales agent would be helpful, but you're still, but that's not what this question is all about. Here we have someone that is an associate broker. Now, associate broker is someone that's working for another broker. Really, they're just like a sales agent. They're not responsible for other agents, and they don't have their own office. They're associate broker. They're associated with another broker. But you're eligible to do what? Become a loan officer? You don't need to become a sales agent. You already have a broker's license. You're not going to necessarily become a tax attorney, although you could. And we do have a lot of attorneys that do have broker's licenses. But you know, the fact that they are a attorney doesn't necessarily give them a broker's license, nor does it necessarily give them an attorney's license if you're a broker. You know, they're two separate little activities you have to qualify for. So it would be D, a principal broker. It's really easy to become a principal broker if you're already an associate broker. You just leave the broker you're currently with and file the proper documents with the division, and you are one because you have a broker's license. It just changed the status from pretty much like a sales agent, which we call an associate broker, to a principal broker, someone that's responsible for the firm. And that might be something that you might want to do. We strongly recommend that when you have enough experience points and you've done your years of experience to boot, that you do come back to school and take our course and then come back and get your broker's license. It just gives you more latitude. It's easier to get licensed in other states. If you want to get a license as a broker in another state and you're a broker in Utah, that's a relatively easy thing to do. And sometimes they have reciprocity where you just pay a fee. Usually they want you to take their own state exam, but you've already passed the national exam, so they're probably going to waive that for you. But it makes a lot of sense to have a broker's license. Besides, you can put that on your business card. Well, that other agent, they're just a sales agent. I'm a broker. Yeah, has a nice ring to it. Number 7, please. Here we have a sales agent will receive experience points towards a broker's license by doing which of the following? Okay. A, listing and selling a property, actually close. Yeah, that sounds good. How about calling prospective clients, just doing some phone marketing in order to try to get some business? How about organizing leads for the office, putting them on filing, little files and arranging them on the computer by areas. Now that doesn't sound very good either. How about D, buying a property for themselves outside their brokerage? Well, that doesn't sound so good either. Really, how do you get experience points? Well, obviously it's A, listing a property that closes, or selling a property that closes. Just listing a property and it doesn't close, that doesn't necessarily mean that real estate agent couldn't get that one sold. Well, it was overpriced and they wouldn't get realistic. Well, okay, part of your job is to help them get realistic and do spot on pricing. Prices go up, prices come down. Condition seriously affects prices, and sometimes even the financing terms that a seller's willing to do can also affect prices on the way up as well. So let's look at number 8, please. Number 8 says when a real estate agent moves from one brokerage to another, who must notify the division? Well, they really put this responsibility on the agent. Now, will the broker probably notify the division too? Some will, some won't. But the requirement, according to the rules, is put on whom? It's put on C, the agent. Now, the buyer or seller, they don't even know what the real estate division is, probably. The business owner, not necessarily, no. Sometimes real estate brokerages are owned by someone who doesn't even have a real estate license. They just kind of hire hired gun. They hire a broker, to come work and run their company for them. An example might be a contractor who's building a number of homes. I was on the phone just a few days ago with a doctor who's an anesthesiologist, but he's retiring from medicine and he just loves real estate, and he's pursuing his real estate license. So kind of an interesting thing, I guess he'll be the doctor of real estate. But anyway, number C is the correct answer. Who's to notify the division? The agent. The agent's supposed to notify the division. So be aware of that. And they like you to notify them pretty quickly. In fact, we're going to look at that one on number 9. Which is the next question, please? Okay, number 9 says, if a licensee leaves their brokerage and does not join another brokerage, how soon must they notify the division of real estate? Within 10 days. Now, they're going to know because, you went inactive, but, they want you to send them another notice as well. Sending them duplicate notices is probably not necessary, but they do want to notice that you have left a brokerage and you're now inactive. Well, they're the ones that deactivated you. It's true, but just notify them that you're also inactive so that they can double check and make sure that everything is done correctly. Number 10. Oh, yeah, within 10 days. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, that was the question. Within 10 days. Okay, number 10, your license expires the day before you submitted your renewal application. Oh, my goodness. You may reinstate your license by paying a renewal fee plus a late fee during the next what? Now, look, they expire at the end of the month in which you got your license. There's nothing to do with your birthday. In the old days, it was, we'd license you through to your birthday, but now they don't do that. Here in Utah, if you took the test and passed in November and activated your license in November, then that's your expiration month, 24 months from now. You have a 2-year license. But they strongly suggest, and this is what you should do, is you can send your application for renewal in prior to expiration. I mean, if you wait till after you expire, then you're going to pay more fees. And if you wait too long after you expire, you're going to lose your license and have to do everything all over again. So, you don't want to do that. So, but if it does expire and you didn't renew it, you could pay a late fee, plus you could pay a little additional fee for the next 30 days. Okay. And after that, the requirements change dramatically. And if you wait too long, you're going to end up taking the whole course all over again and passing the exam again. So the answer to number 10 is B, 30. Okay. Now look, this is Utah law. There are rules and regulations, but they're particular for Utah. If you're from another state, you probably don't want to do this anymore tonight. You just go back to our website where you found these little reviews and work on one of the nationals, because you're not going to be tested on Utah law. Each state has their own requirements, and some of them are this similar, but you can't depend on that, because one state might be 15 days, or it might be 60 or 90. But in Utah, you can reinstate your license by paying renewal fee plus a late fee for the next 30 days. Okay. Number 11, please. Number 11 is a real fun one. What are the requirements for continuing education renew a real estate license? Okay. 12 hours every 2 years, including a core course. Okay. 6 hours every year, including a core course prepared by the real estate division. 18 hours of any approved subject plus the state's core course, which is C. Or we have 9 hours of core plus 9 more hours. Okay, well, first of all, you have to understand that it is 18 hours. It's not 12, it's not 6, okay? 6 would be 12 again, because it's a 2-year license, right? So those two are wrong. So it's either 18 of any approved subject plus the state's core course. Now, the state's core course is 3 hours. The actual rule for from the division is 9 hours of core plus 9 more hours. So if you did 18 hours of any topic, I mean, including electives or non-core courses, then you don't have enough core. Now, the division says it's 18 hours, at least 9 of core plus 9 more hours. But of those 9 core, one of them has to be the state's mandated 3-hour core course. So you have 6 hours. See, that's where the 6 comes in. It kind of messes you up because there's 6 hours of the 9 required core that you can take any core course or a number of core courses. There's 1 hour, 2 hour, and 3-hour core courses, all approved by the division. But it's at least 9 hours of core plus 9 more hours. Now, could you do 19 or all 18 hours in core? Sure, because that's at least 9 hours of core. Actually, it's 18 hours of core, right? But it's at least 9 hours of core and 9 more other hours. I would strongly suggest that in your first couple of years in the business, you take 30, 40, 50 hours of education classes. Just make dang sure you have 9 hours of core, including the 3-hour mandatory course in that 9 hours, plus 9 more other hours. But that's just minimum. You can take more if you want. And I suggest you do that because you're learning how to do the business. And we'd love to have you come back and take them at our school. Number 12, please. Okay, Jay is a licensee that works primarily on commercial leasing. They lease retail space every single month. They do occasionally help family members with residential purchases, which, hey, you have a license that allows you to do commercial. It allows you to do commercial leasing. It allows you to do residential leasing. But this particular company, they do a lot of retail space leasing. Which mandatory class must they take to renew their license? Okay. Would it be a mandatory residential, mandatory commercial, mandatory property management course, or any mandatory course? Well, you could take any flavor of the mandatory course. They're all 3 hours, and it doesn't matter which one you take. I mean, since you're doing commercial real estate, we do have a 3-hour mandatory commercial course. That would probably be the one you'd be interested in. But if it's not available or if it doesn't meet your schedule, you could take the mandatory residential course. That would be fine. Now, there are some additional requirements for your first renewal, and we'll look at that at another time. But right now, as you've passed that first renewal and you're into your second or third or fourth renewal in real estate, which we hope you get to because, that means you're doing well and you're enjoying it. And, it's certainly a fun business to be in. But you can take any of the mandatory courses. Okay? Anyone you want. So the answer to this one is D, but you do have to take at least one mandatory course. Be kind of interesting to take the property management or commercial course, even if you're in residential, because they give you a flavor for what that is like. And you might want to branch out. You have a real estate license. It doesn't restrict you from selling small business buildings or big ones. I did quite a bit of commercial work in even my first year in business because I had a buyer that liked to buy that stuff and they liked me. And they didn't care if I was a rookie. They knew I worked hard and did my research, and they were pretty smart people. They knew what they were looking for, and they could run numbers and they could read contracts and leases and understand things probably better than I did at the beginning. But, really, it's your personal relationship. If they like your integrity, your go-gettedness, the hustle that you've got behind you, that's really more important to most people than the fact that you were able to pass a multiple choice test with a C-. Okay, look at number 13, please. To renew a real estate license, an associate broker must do all the following except... Well, you got to renew. Do you need 9 hours of core? Yeah, I pretty much drove that home, didn't I? Do you need to provide proof of adequate experience points earned? Wait a minute. You're already a broker. You're an associate broker. Do you have to keep proving your experience points every time you renew? That doesn't ring true, does it? Okay, or does it? We'll see here in just a moment. Because the question is a negative question. Be careful. Read the stem of the question twice. See that last word in the stem of the question? It says except. To renew a real estate license, social broker must do all the following except. Except. Do you have to get 9 core? Yes, you do. Provide proof of adequate experience points? No. You already did that when you got your original license. C, complete 9 additional hours of continuing ed? Well, how many you got so far? Well, I got 9 core. What else do you need? Another 9, because you have to have a total of 18. And pay the fee. Well, okay. You got to do that, right? You've got to have conditional, but you don't have to prove your experience points again. So the correct answer to this one is D. Kind of tricky because it's an except question. You're looking for the exception. You must do A, you must do C, and you must pay the fee. So, but you don't have to prove your adequate experience points after you've already been given your license. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. And then we have another one here. Now, the last one we're going to talk about is a licensed timeshare salesperson can sell real estate if they. Now, in Utah, timeshare people have to have a license, but it's not very hard to get. They just fill out a form and they pay some money, and then they are one. But because you have a timeshare license isn't going to give you any horsepower in trying to get your real estate license. You do have a type of real estate license, but it's really kind of a registration because timeshare is its own thing. It's a little bit different than what we do every day, day in, day out as a real estate broker. If you have a real estate broker's license, you still need to get a timeshare license. Interesting. Because there are some things that are different in timeshare that are just different. But it is regulated by the real estate division. So a licensed timeshare salesman can sell real estate if they just register with the broker, notify the division, hey, I'm selling timeshare now, and so I'm not licensed for anything, but I'm selling it. Complete real estate pre-license requirements, or have their license moved over. Well, what do you think, guys? Complete all the license, pre-license requirement, apply for a real estate license. C is the correct answer, because just having a timeshare license it'll give you some really great experience on how to close and how to work with people and bring them to a decision, which is a big part of sales. And like it or not, this is a sales business, folks. Yes, we do a lot of service and we have to know a lot of things. But the bottom line is, if you can't sell yourself and get listings, or if you have buyers in your car and you can't motivate them enough to sign a purchase contract, you're not going to go anywhere in this business. So having timeshare experience, could help you with learning how to work with people, how to get them motivated, and how to get them to sign agreements, and that might be very helpful. But they are, even though they're regulated by the division, they are 2 separate things, 2 separate licenses. One's very easy to get. The timeshare license is very easy to get. Real estate license takes a little bit more effort. Got to go through your pre-license course. You have to pass that pre-license course at the school, and then you have to register for the exam. And in our state, we use Pearson VUE as the exam provider. You have to go into another test. It's going to be a little bit stressful for a lot of you, but on the other hand, you can do this. It is a multiple choice test. You will have the right answer in front of you, just like the 14 examples we've looked at tonight. It will be there. And sometimes it's just a process of elimination, or it jogs your memory. And when you see it there, oh yeah, complete a real estate pre-license requirement, apply for, okay, yeah, that's it. Okay. Well, we really appreciate you being here tonight. The Institute of Real Estate Education is located in Bountiful, Utah. Dan Naylor is the proprietor and also our technical expert tonight. Thank you, Dan, for being here. We appreciate you watching our videos. We hope they're helpful to you. Don't hesitate to call if you have any questions. If you are just considering getting a real estate license, reviewing some of these videos will kind of give you a taste of what you're going to have to do in order to complete that license, and that's a good thing too. So anyway, if we can ever be of any help, my name is Rick Roller. I've been your game show host for tonight. My number is 801-556 8000. That's 556-8000. Rick at rickroller.com. And the Institute of Real Estate Education is who I work with. And I think they're some of the finest folks I've ever met. So you'll enjoy us and you'll enjoy our school. And if you're considering pre-licensing, this is the place to come. Thanks for being here tonight. Or today, whenever you happen to watch.
Thanks for watching. If you want to show some appreciation to our instructors, be sure to like and subscribe so that they see how much you enjoyed it. And if you want any additional review material, check the links below for our full suite of practice materials for the real estate license exam. Thank you.